T-shirt, black rock, black rock, T-shirts, black rock, T-shirt.
No, but that was funny. When Kyle said, always for my first piece of advice is always model. Always be modeling. Brandon Beat, my friend Brandon Beat, was like, the other day I saw him at Woody's and he's like, dude, you're always putting on a show, aren't you? You're always putting on a show. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, you're even putting on a show when you're crossing the road, when you're running, dude. He's like, you're like this, and then you go like this, and then the car stops, and then you like walk across really fast. It's kind of weird.
I love that kid.
He's a cool dude.
Mm-hmm. He was at Soundboy yesterday.
Yes, we're in the JevCast world.
Wow.
Look who's here. Look who is here. Mr. Kyle Wareham from Three-Legged Fox.
Yep.
And the most recently formed Pretty Darn, and then the more recently formed Soundboy, and then the even more recently formed band named Kevin. What's up, guys? Welcome to JevCast 7. We're going to talk today about music for once. We haven't really talked much about music. And today I thought it would be interesting to have Kyle come on and answer some of my own personal questions about the struggles of where music consumption is heading, I think. So everybody's talking now about iTunes going away, and I know you always kind of make fun of me when I talk about iTunes. because you're like, dude, Spotify. I mean, and you know, I know there's other people that listen to Pandora, but Spotify is your world. Wouldn't you say that's kind of your world? The world of Kyle is Spotify is ruled by King Kyle.
No.
No, but I mean,
wouldn't say that.
As far as locals are concerned, I feel like you're the most knowledgeable guy about things that start with the letter K.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I definitively know anything about anything, but I've been doing making and marketing original music for a long time.
Like longer than 10 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Probably like 12 or 13 years. And I remember when Spotify first came out. But it's not even Spotify versus Pandora versus Apple Music. It's just pretty much streaming online from an app on a phone is the way that music, I think, is primarily digested by people nowadays.
Yeah.
As opposed to downloading.
Well, you know what I thought was really cool is the other night at the gig when Meredith's parents they're from near Philly. And then they said, well, who's this gentleman? And this is Jev. And they're like, oh, hey. And they're, well, who's this? And then Meredith goes, well, they're both from Philly. And then, well, this is Kyle Wareham. And they were like, whoa, what? Like, and then I heard her say, to our sons, you're a rock star. And to a lot of people up there. And so the first thing I think that we need that we want to mention is that you spend a lot of time, like, literally on the road. People say, like, man, I went on the road this weekend, man. I did some shows, man. I went on the road for 2 weeks. I mean, you were on the road for years. Not gone for years,
yeah.
But you were on the road traveling with a band.
Yeah. I mean, I started that band, and probably within 2 years, we were doing just weekend warrior stuff, you know. Right. Leave for 3 days and play within a few 100 miles of Philly and come back and do that every weekend. And then we started going out for a week at a time, and then 2 weeks at a time, and then a month at a time, 2 months at a time.
Oh, wow.
And kind of just like, it's the spiral. So kind of just every time spiral out a little bit further, stay out longer.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I'd never heard this story. I love this. I love this story. I love hearing about this, because when I would do it with Low Country Boyle, it was like, we'd play in Richmond one night, which is 8 hours from here. Down south, I think different. You know, like even when like someone like Ozzy will come around, you have to drive 5 hours. It doesn't Ozzy isn't it now. Ozzy doesn't come to Charleston or whatever. I mean, ZZ Top or Willie Nelson will come to Savannah, but you know, I feel like up there you're going to New York, you're going to maybe Vermont, you're going to cool. I mean, I don't know how cool Ohio is, but
Yeah, we would actually come down south a lot because for the type of music that we were playing, which was considered, I guess, reggae rock. Florida was a really big market for us, so we would come down. We would leave Philly and do like Baltimore, D.C., Richmond, then skip kind of this whole area, and then straight to Florida. we could do 10 days in Florida.
what?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, easily.
Huh. See that? Yeah, and so I think the point I was trying to make when we started talking about, you know, you didn't just move down here and, you know, people are like, there's people whispering like about Kyle, like, oh man, he came down here. He like actually makes money like streaming music, and I was like, no way, man, no way. But the important thing that I think, the important thing that I didn't. The stuff that I'm not putting, and I don't think a lot of people put together, is you were there when Spotify started, and so you were out building this fan base with Three-Legged Fox, but still, the way that you orchestrated the Pretty Darn thing is it's a pretty interesting thing to me too. I mean, you just moved down here and you started a band that sold the roasting room out three times, 4 times.
Yeah.
4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, and that ticketed event kind of thing, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Not playing a lot of shows in public, and then ramping up to a show out, you know, or. You know, and you guys have done some big shows on Hilton Head too, but I think that's a different kind of topic. But you are getting some, you're putting out new stuff. Mm-hmm. Three-Legged Fox just put out a new thing.
Yeah.
So for a person like me who I don't know a lot about Spotify, what are some basic things that that someone could you know, what's the first step? Getting your music under someone like TuneCore or CD Baby, so there's a distribution.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yep, that's the first step, I guess, is pick a distributor. There are a lot of them. We've just always used CD Baby since the beginning, and I like them because they're really good at finding your royalties and delivering them to you quickly. TuneCore, I think, is another good one that a lot of people I know use. But, I mean, I can't say which is better than the other.
Maybe it also depends on, like, where you live or something, or who your friends
maybe.
are.
Maybe.
You know.
CD Baby's just good because it's like their time frames are always guaranteed, and you know that it's getting delivered everywhere, and you know that they're collecting for you.
A lot of people say, man, I'm gonna release an album on Spotify, and I'm gonna get paid. And I say, yeah, and I kind of say, sounds easy, but it's not. You know, I mean, it's really not easy, especially I think if you're not touring. Like, say you're a local guy who plays gigs, and you say to yourself, I'm gonna release a CD, just because I think deep down in there, everyone in this area wants to do a song, and they want people to hear it, and they want people to like it. Mm-hmm. So, like, recently for me, I've had to learn stuff about, like, the artwork has to be a certain size, files have to be the WAV file or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think more importantly, you have to start building an audience from scratch on Spotify through you know, I mean, you're the guy. I mean, you know more about this than I do, but like, how do you get on a playlist? And people all the time, I think, are asking themselves, why aren't people listening? I put my stuff on Spotify. Why aren't they listening to it? What's an easy answer to that?
Because everybody nowadays puts their music on Spotify, and there's tons and tons of music on Spotify. And, I mean, I don't know, really, like, I don't know how there's no way to get more people to listen to your music. Like, if you could just do that, then everybody would do that. But playlist, to me, is really, really important. That's how people just come across your stuff. And nowadays, people listen to Spotify like they listen to the radio, and they have playlists that they subscribe to, and they search for genres of music that they like to listen to. And to get your stuff on one of those playlists, I think, is a big help. And you can do that by paying a company to do it for you, to do a push for you. And I think that's something that everybody should do, is pick your best song or what you think could be your most popular song and put some money behind it and get somebody to market it to playlist for you.
In addition to pushing the crap out of it on your social media so if you have, like, say you're on Instagram and you have 600 followers or something. I think something that I see, people all the time joke around with me, Jevons, put this, I heard the song, you put it up there like 3 times in the last like month or whatever. But the thing that I had to start realizing was I could put the song up there every day, not every day. Say I put got a song and sign up through CD Baby. It's like $10 plus a $5 ISRC fee or whatever it is. Put the song out, got my artwork, I'm happy. Bam, it's done. It comes out. It's on. There's a YouTube link and there's a Spotify link. Mm-hmm. For a while, I didn't even know how to get the Spotify link
shared.
Yeah. And then I thought, I'm gonna share. Am I gonna share this one time and that's it? No. No. You really have to be without a 10. Say you have 1,000 listeners on Spotify. I mean, that's not easy to get 1,000 listeners on Spotify.
Well, monthly listeners? No,
yeah, right. That is a lot. I mean, I have 12 or something, you know. So, I think the reason that we're even having this conversation is to say, for me, I wanted to tell everyone, it's okay if you have questions and you don't understand, because I don't understand. And yes, I am probably twice your age if you're watching this, but if you're watching this and you're interested about getting your stuff heard, but skip buying the Marshall stack and promote your song, maybe.
Right, yeah, I think it's always weird to me when people make records or make a single and then they go to market it or do something and then they're like, wait, what, this costs money. I don't want, that's expensive. This is expensive. I don't want, now I have to pay $15 for distribution, or they're going to take a percentage of my royalties now because I'm using this distributor. And to me, it's like, if that's your attitude, then I don't know, why are you even making it in the first place? You know, it's like, that's part of it. That's part of, if you want music to be your business, that comes with costs. And one of those costs is distribution, selling your product and marketing your product, and you have to be prepared to do that. And I think when people get upset about CD Baby because they take a percentage of your royalties, and it's like, well, have you gotten any royalties yet? So like, let that be a good problem when you start.
That's the thing.
Getting money, you know. Somebody
said to me, "Hey man, what if I did this? What if we did this little thing? I'll call this person G." This guy said, "Hey, you want to write some songs? You'll write the song, but I'm going to take half the royalties because I got the connections." And I thought right away, hell yeah, I'll do that because I got zero right now.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, you know, also it's a write-off if you do this. Mm-hmm. It's a tax write-off. If you're not paying taxes and you're a musician, come on, man. Quit it. You know, I was really surprised. myself at all the money I'd spent on T-shirts last year. I had no idea. I spent like $3,000 on T-shirts. You know, and I mean, you know, if you do T-shirts, be prepared to give them away. I mean, if you do CDs, that could be a whole nother section of this conversation, is like actually pressing CDs, because you a lot of the time call them business cards, which I think is really cool. It costs you $2 or $4 a CD. You know, like I only did 100 of the Kids album.
Yeah.
Because Kyle's also a studio owner on Hilton Head. Forgot to point that out. He's also a sick engineer, and he's also really mainly to me a producer and a multi-instrumentalist. So if you want to do a project, you want to do a song, you want to do an album, whatever, you can hit up Kyle. But I think still having a printed CD, like at your gigs, you know, there might be an old soul who's 20 years old who just wants to buy the CD. There might be an older person who's into owning CDs. But I think the next part of this conversation is, okay, so you've done a CD and you put it on CD Baby and nothing's happened, and this is why we're sitting here, is, you know, I don't know much about it, and I think it's much better to start in, this is the future. I mean, this is it. Having a music video is important, I think, too. There's a lot of people around here. We worked with Trevor Harden. There's Doug Marshall's got a thing going on. We got other videographers around here. You know, Justin Old's coming up. And you can also just shoot a video on your phone and just get something. You have to have something first.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like, YouTube has become such a big platform for music, and it might even be competing. I'm pretty sure it's competing. It might even be more popular than Spotify right now, at least for younger kids. But just to have a way to have your music on the platform of YouTube, you can make a lyrics video. You can pick a bunch of pictures you like, do a photo shoot, get press photos, just have those pictures in the background, and get somebody to make a video that has your lyrics right out as the song plays, just so you can have it be on YouTube in an interesting way. That's important too. That's a major platform.
I think the thing for me, you know, I was in a slump for a while where I had kids, Silicone Sister was killing really like a lot of my energy was going into that. And I was like spending Sunday, Monday recovering physically from doing that. And then Tuesday, and then I also wasn't trying to write a song. I wasn't thinking about my surroundings. I wasn't thinking about that. And when I met Greg Critchley, we were talking, and he was like, you know, you don't seem like you're very happy, you know. And I think the first step is, if you want to be happy, do this for yourself. Put a song and put it out there. And I personally think resharing is okay. I think, you know, my buddy Michael Rappy up in PA, he's always given me a hard time. He did all the edits on the Man Crush video. He's a funny guy. He's friends with Ryan Baggett, who's a videographer around here. I forgot to mention, who's for hire. But he was, you know, he's always saying like, "Oh, come on, man, you reshared it." But I don't think there's any rules either. I think sometimes it takes me a while to get to what I'm actually trying to say here. Is like, resharing stuff to me is not a bad idea. Like, you do a video, who else is gonna push it? You got to push it yourself. You're the pusher. I mean,
yeah,
you know, you're the promoter. And, you know, I just think you don't expect too much to happen right away. I mean,
no, yeah, that's another thing. I always thought, in my experience, to get to like a level, at least for me, to get to the level where I thought like, okay, I think I'm successful. Like, I think that this has been a success. Not that it's anything huge or, you know, I'm making tons of money or I'm famous, but just like to be at a level where I was, you know, proud of of what I did, and I thought that it was reaching a lot of people, and I thought that it was successful. I think that takes 10 years. I really do. From the moment you think of what you want to do, you give it a name, and you start putting stuff out. I think it takes 10 years just for it to wade through the muck of everything that's out there and reach an audience and actually start gaining critical mass. I think you have to be prepared to be in it for the long run, and the ability to do that comes with the fact that you're doing it just because you love to do it, not because you want to have songs that are super popular and make tons of money. Like, that's great, but if that's what you're doing it for, you're gonna be disappointed, I think, for a while, unless something crazy happens. But that's just...
Sure, I mean, you could have a song, like if you're promoting it on SoundCloud or something.
Yeah.
I mean, but I feel like that ship has kind of sailed, unless you're maybe like a rapper, like those.
Yeah,
rappers.
I never really understood what SoundCloud was supposed to be for. I've never come across people who find music on SoundCloud or listen to music on SoundCloud who aren't musicians themselves. I don't think that's how you reach the general public, but I think it's good to have a SoundCloud page, put your songs on there, and put them on there for free download. That to me what it's for.
I was using it for a little while, and people always said, well, wait, so now I have to create a login.
Right, exactly.
But I mean,
There's a bunch, like Bandcamp and all those too are like that. It's just, you have to make it easy for people. But SoundCloud is a good place to put music up. Do a live recording of one of your sets, put it on SoundCloud, and put everything you have on SoundCloud, put it for free download. If somebody stumbles across it who's a fan of yours, good for them. They can download it for free. Or, if you meet somebody who wants your music, or if somebody's
like a fan.
if somebody's asking for links to MP3s, you can have them right there for free download, and it's easy.
Yeah, I think the cool thing these days is Saul Good's been doing this a lot lately at his shows. Hey guys, you can follow me on Instagram, and he's like doing a show, and then that's great that you can get followers like immediately at your shows. But what you really want to do is have a place where you can say, I got music up on iTunes, I got music up on Spotify. Because I know a lot of people, at the general consensus of my shows these days and my demographic, call it Low Country Boil, because that's mainly where I do original music, So they'll hear this ridiculous song, they're like, hey, is that on iTunes? Hey man, is that on iTunes? Mm-hmm. And I think now I feel it shifting to a lot of people are talking about Spotify now, or talking about, well, we're listening to Pandora right now, or I think people are finding that it's. I think also my buddy Chris Hudak said something important to me yesterday. He said, I don't know, man, like I don't even know the names of the songs or the artists anymore because the playlists are kind of dominating. Mm-hmm. But that's where you want to be,
right?
If you're an artist,
Right. Well, if you want to make money off of your music from the internet, then that's how you do it. That's definitely true, though. Like Spotify, the playlist, and the streaming radio world, people often are fans of songs that they don't even know the names of, and they don't know who made them. And to me, someone like me, where I am in my life right now, I'm like, that's fine. I don't care if somebody never knows that this single I put out is by the band Three-Legged Fox. If it gets streamed 30,000 times a month, then that's fine.
Right, because
fine with it.
But you've already been over so many of these little mountains that like people. I'm sure a local musician woke up today and right away thought, "How do I do this?" And I always the podcast. The JevCast sort of preaches when I preach. Start small, like make a goal
mm-hmm.
that you can reach. Like people are always saying, like, man, you killing it, man. You lost 20 pounds or something. And I'm like, I only wanted to lose 5. And for a guy like me with music, I'm 47. I've got my sons getting ready to go to college. My daughters are at camp right now. my goals are, man, it'd be really cool if I could get like 1,000 views on a YouTube video, or, we're always saying, oh, we need to get to 1,000 subscribers. Now that's a new goal for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but it'd be really fun and cool if it did. I guess you have to believe in yourself.
And you have to give it time. It's just
Yeah.
not going to happen right away. And within, so say you make a goal that's, I want to get 1,000 subscribers. Like, great. That's your big goal at the top. Then have sub goals beneath that are quantifiable and achievable, that you can be proud of yourself for along the way. Like, okay, 1,000 subscribers. So my goal for this week is to comment on 100 other channels' videos. Like, great stuff, because stuff like that, you might get a refollow from
right,
them,
right,
so it's
right,
like if I reach out to 100 people and just comment and say that I like it, that's my goal for this week. And you can know that at least you're actively doing something to reach out and try and get more followers. It's stuff like that, If
I haven't even done this yet.
I just think I think it's way more manageable when you just set small, achievable goals or tasks for yourself that are part of getting done what you want to get done. If you want to make a record, which a lot of people want to make records, like whole albums, and that's really, really hard thing to do. Set small goals. I want to write a song. I want to have a new song written by next week. I want to have 10 songs written in 3 months. And then I don't know, just start from there.
Yeah, I think more and more it's really fun. I've been putting out a lot of stuff. I've been feeling like, I'm going to put stuff out. And part of me is just, I'm kind of doing it. Like, I think if I was to look at myself, part of me does it sort of to piss people off in a way. Like, because I hear so much crap from people saying, oh man, I'm going to put something out soon. And I'm just like, cool, man. Or woman. Cool, woman. You should. Because this is your time right now. You're 27 years old and you're hot. I mean, you look good, your voice is good, or if you're a dude, like you got that perfect like neckline and your hair's all there. Now is it? I mean, really. I mean, it might sound a little funny, but do it. And then when you don't talk about it, guess what? Old man River over here is going to put out another song. I mean, and I do think, obviously I don't do it to piss people off, but I feel better about myself. And then here's my goal: put it out and that's it.
Yeah.
Put it out and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know more about what to do next and be real about it. Like, I do want to go to, I do comment on videos sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'll see something and people will give a thumbs down to a video and I'm saying, you're on your couch.
Yeah.
You're not, my father always says, Jevon, when you get on stage, you're putting yourself out there and you're asking for criticism. Mm-hmm. Sure, with that comes more praise all the time, but when you get criticized, you're like, hey man, but it feels good to have criticism too. It's good for you.
Yeah.
So you guys just did the Three-Legged Fox single, mm-hmm. and you have your buddy who you wrote it with, mm-hmm. and he came down. So let's preface just really quickly how it happened, and realistically, like, we'll talk about the whole process. So what's his name? Corey, right. So you guys were talking and you said, hey man, let's do a new tune.
Yeah.
Let's give people something new, even though we're not touring anymore. There's people out there that they're having a baby now, or they got married, or they're missing you guys for whatever reason, or just for you guys to get together to do something. I mean, Why do people write songs? You know, that kind of thing. Take us through. Take us on a journey.
Okay, well, I mean, to be 100% honest about why we did that, we make okay money monthly from Spotify, and we wanted to make more money every month from Spotify. So the best way to do that is to put more music on Spotify. And realistically, he lives in Philly and I live down here, so we figured we could you come down, we get together, we write one song, we produce it, we put it out, we promote it, and we just try and just add to the pot, try and add more fuel to the fire. We don't want to tour anymore or really do anything like that. So this is pretty much like for the money, to be honest with you.
Sure, I mean, but still, okay, that's why we go to do
But
gigs.
that's like,
why we do gigs.
Right. That was our goal, you know.
Right. But in the
to get
whole
the checks up. But I mean, we love it. He and I have been writing music together since high school. And we both love production. And it just seemed like enough time had passed since we put out our last record. And yeah, we just wanted to get back in the studio and do another track. And we're gonna do another one next month.
Yeah, it's wild, you know, for people who are listening who don't know what production is. I think we all maybe have an idea of what production is, but, you know, you really don't, until you are having a conversation, like when we first started doing stuff, it was this song, Lil Something Something. With, I had an idea. I think it was actually inspired by, not Snarky Puppy, but Vulfpeck. So I heard Vulfpeck and I heard some young local musicians. This is why I did this. Sort of the same kind of thing that you have with your dude with Corey. You know, it's kind of like, what's my goal here? My goal is to kind of do a local funk tune. So I said, well, I'm a local funk bass player and no one even knows it. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm pretty funky sometimes. So I did this demo at my house. I have very simple recording gear, and I did this. And then I think a lot of people around this area equate Fred with the funk. They think Fred has the funk, and you know what? He does. Mm-hmm. So, and Fred and I had done some stuff with Greg Critchley, actually, where we'd done some demos and stuff and gone to the studio and sung or whatever. He came over here and did some stuff. And Fred's always down to do something. I mean, we're both busy right now, but like in the wintertime, we always talk. We've done several songs together. And I said, cool, man. So I didn't even know you really at the time, and Whitley or somebody told me, dude, Jevon. And, you know, Whitley and I have, like, had our little thing over the years where we're a little competitive or whatever. Or we, you know, maybe one thinks the other one's totally full of shit, or we think, you know, whatever. We used to play volleyball against each other and, like, have words. It was awesome. He was like, dude, man, I'm in the studio trying to do my album, dude. And, like, Kyle played How Much I'm on the Bench like 8 times. I'm in there trying to do my album. And I was like, what? Why? And you know, and then somebody else said they were over there, like Zach Stevens was over there or something. And he's like, where can I hear this song? So fast forward to now, it took so many hours for you to get that song. Because first of all, my stuff was not played perfectly, and I sent you the bass, and I sent you the guitar, and I sent you the vocals. When these guys go, when people like him, this person over here, when you do this thing, everything is cut up. I'm talking about production now, like everything's cut up, and then you build these things called comps, where you build the best vocal, and then you make that maybe every chord you're cutting and pasting. It's like, it's so cool, but I don't really think I have the patience. This is your art. This is another part of you that people maybe don't know about, is 30 hours in, or 40 hours in, and you've listened to the song, like, you've listened to a section of it, like, 78 times. You've listened to the song 600 times. You're living with this song for, like, weeks. You know, why wouldn't, I think, to preface all this stuff, why wouldn't you give that baby some diapers? Why wouldn't you give that baby, like, a nice house? You know, like, once you've spent all this time on it, oh, you're just going to put it on YouTube and that's it?
Right.
You're not going. Are you proud of that? Share it. Put it. Send it to your friend in Nevada. Send it to your. I mean, you have to keep coming back and saying, I am proud of you, to this little baby.
Yeah, right.
To this project that you spent this one song. And I really think the one song thing is, it's a really neat thing, because where we live, where everyone says, I don't want to oversaturate. I mean, what do you think about that when people say?
I think that's important too. I've always felt that way. I think that comes just from like touring and having a booking agent, and we always had radial clauses where, you know, we would have a show coming up in Richmond or something, and the radial clause is that you're not allowed to play within, you know, 40 miles of that club 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after, because
then you're cut your audience.
Right, the people in that region should be going to that club to see that show. And so that's just like kind of a philosophy that I always carried with me about shows. And, you know, to make a distinction between shows and gigs, here for a living, I play gigs every day. I play gigs. I play at restaurants, and I play cover songs and play some of my original songs, but I don't go on Facebook and make an event for each one of those, or like try and get as many people as I can to each one, because I want to save that for my shows, for when I'm selling tickets.
I mean, the roasting room.
At the roasting room, right, under a band name where it's original music and it's an original show. So I want to save. I think that if I'm posting about every gig that I'm doing or telling everybody, then when I actually want or need people to come out and buy tickets, it's
crying wolf.
Yeah, you're right. It'll pass right by.
Yeah, that's that hurts.
Yeah, right.
You know, because but when you get to that night, I mean, I'd traveled and I had played. We developed audiences in like places like Valdosta, Georgia, back in, like, this is like 99, 97, 98, 99. When we would go to Chapel Hill, we would have a little group, you know, or whatever. But now you got to be careful, and I think it's important to maybe, I don't know. It's so cool though when you get to that show, you're like, it's January and you're like, you got a show in April, you know, and you're like, you start promoting it in February or whatever, and you start talking about it a little bit, you announce it a couple times, and then as the show's coming closer, you start hyping it up. Maybe you do like maybe you re-release, you reshare some old stuff, and you're like using it. I mean, I think then that's where you need a video.
Right, or some new material.
You guys did that. You guys did City of the Queen on like a local. Someone shot a video of you guys. You guys were out like in the marsh somewhere.
Yeah, we did Home Country too. That was for WSBF.
Savannah?
No, it was these kids from, I think, Clemson, a college around here, and I think they reached out to us. I don't remember. The High Divers did one too. They do a bunch of them, and it's such great production and such a good look. And they come out and they do it for free because I think it's part of their curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So we jumped on that, and they actually came down to do Home Country, and City of the Queen is a song that I also released on a Three-Legged Fox record. So I figured while we were there with the cameras and the sound equipment, let's do this. This is a crossover, pretty darn Three-Legged Fox thing, and so that I could have content for Three-Legged Fox to release to YouTube as well. So that's why we did City of the Queen also.
Yeah. Which is a great song. Once you see, you know, get a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people know that song.
A lot of people request that.
Yeah.
At my gigs even.
And you wonder first of all, how do they know this song? You know, I mean, first of all, it's a well-written song. I mean, did you write that song? Is that purely something you did by yourself? You didn't ask anyone. You didn't like send it out to any of your test audience. I mean, do you think a test audience is important?
Oh yeah, big time.
Like a friend or 3 friends or a fellow musician or your mom.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Send it to your mom.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, especially when you're working on a song for like 5 days straight, from writing to arrangement to production, you start to get so close that you're like inside of it, and it's hard to objectively listen to it without all these. You kind of have, when you start the process, you have these ideas in your head, and by the end of it, you're like, am I just sticking to these ideas because they were my ideas or because they were still good ideas? So I think it's important to, you know, don't send it to everybody, but people whose opinions you respect, and that will give you actual good constructive criticism, not just like, oh, I don't like this, or this song is great. You know, that doesn't help.
It's tough. I think, you know, all that comes with.
And you take it with a grain of salt, you know.
Right.
Take it as you want to take it, but it's still good to have people's opinions. Really, everything that I ever do or ever write, I play for my wife before I decide anything, because I love her opinion, and she's not a musician, and I think that that's important too. Like, she represents to me just like a fan of music, a listener of music.
Both our wives have sung on CDs we've done.
Yeah, yeah.
She is, that's
strange. Yeah, I mean,
she is kind of she can't get on there and like start, she's
Right.
not a producer.
Yeah, well,
she's not an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
but she's also not a working musician. She can sing. You've heard her sing, you just don't know it. You know, go listen to I Am Then I Am.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what she's on?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe another track. But I was going to say too, I was waiting for my little chance to jump in there and say that my wife is my harshest critic.
Yeah.
My wife tells me stuff, you know, that no one else will tell me.
Yeah.
And my wife always says to me, I don't want to tell you what I think of this song, or I don't want to tell you what I think of this idea. You know, I leave stuff, like she'll pick stuff up and there's like, sharks are people too, or something, you know? And she's like, she'll text me and be like, please don't tell me you're trying to write a song called Sharks are People Too. You know, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes I will do it to sort of not spite her, but I want to show. Sometimes I want to prove people wrong and say, this can be written. You know, I can write a song about a shark and make it work, or an older guy. I mean, look at me, man. Come on, you know, this isn't supposed to be working. But I put myself out there for years, and I say stuff. I just say what's on my mind or whatever, and I'm trying to learn like everybody else. I'm trying to learn, you know, I feel like I'm kind of like tardy to the party, but I won't stop. I'm not stopping either, and you shouldn't either. I mean, you should take people's advice if somebody's successful. I mean, it's one thing to talk about doing it, but just, you say you did something, just send it to me. And if I don't want to tell you what I think, but don't say you got all this stuff going on. Like, you know, if you want to do a show at Kalini Theater, if you want to do a show at the Tiki Hut, or if you want to do a show at the Roasting Room, or you want to do you're gonna sub, I need a sub. Can you just send me a video? I don't have a video. That's the wrong. Pick up your phone, get iMovie, or if you have a Samsung or Android, there's other. Whitley said, I don't use iMovie, I use something else, and he made some videos, you know, of himself and put them up. And if you put it up there, and you do it, what is it like? I thought it was Sunday and Wednesday, but you know, I mean, I'm still trying to learn all this stuff. But if you're afraid to share it and stuff like that, that's part of the process.
Yeah.
You do that one song, and then 6 months later, or a year, sometimes it takes a year to do. You do 3 songs, or you worked hard for a year and you do 8 songs or 10 songs and you put it out. You know, it has to be on Spotify. You can't just press a CD anymore.
Yeah.
because this is how I want to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I also need it to sound good on this, unfortunately, or my thing, my little speaker. You've got, you know, you got to give it time. Like I always say, 5 years. Like if I want to learn how to play badminton, it's gonna take me 5 years, 3 to 5 years.
Right.
But with music, like you're saying, and Ryan Baggett said something to me on my back porch one day. He said, "You don't even know with your, you know, because we were kind of like, I was kind of poking, I was self-deprecating. I was, oh, stupid hats I make, oh, so dumb." And he's like, "You don't even know though what you can't even see what you're doing." But he goes, I'm a marketing guy. He just started a business called I Am Marketing Man or something. He's out on his own now. Hashtag I Am Marketing Man. You're welcome. And he said, you can't see it, you know. And to everyone that doubts themselves a little bit, I want to say, we put out our Daily Planet album 23 years ago, and people say, "Hey man, I popped that in because, you know, my kids were asking about like what Hilton Head music was like in the 90s, and like, or they had like Martin Lesch's Bambino album or something, or they had a Moondaz album, you know, or they had a board tape from the old post office." But it's like going through life, and then we're all kind of normal. You get married and you have a kid or something, and then next thing you know, you're 38 or you're 42, and you sometimes that's when the music's gonna mean something again. It's gonna come back around, but we are in this new whole paradigm of listening, consumption, you know, and all that kind of stuff, and it's you got to do your research, you know, and you have to show and you also have to shine the light on other people. I think too. Like I think something that's made me feel good is when you did like something. Say you said, "Hey man, you know, let's do a song together" or something. And my immediate reaction was when I got home was to share something you did. And, you know, unfortunately on social media I've noticed that when I share something I did, it'll get looks because people are looking for my stuff.
Right.
When you share something that you've done, people are going to say, you know, and they're going to reshare it. Typically, when I share other people's stuff, it's harder, but sometimes it's just a little piece. It's a little thing I can do to like show some local love and like say, "Hey man, check this dude out," or a picture of like when I go see shows at the Roasting Room, or I try to go to a lot of those, just because I feel like we need more local people playing there, and it feels so good when you get up there and you hit that first chord or whatever, or you sing that first note and you look out and you see all your friends and your support people, and you know you hear the sound and you look around. I mean, it feels pretty good. It is a good feeling, you know.
Yeah, I like those trophies too.
Look, my wife actually put. I don't know if you guys can see it, but
yeah.
My wife actually put my trophy. I mean, those trophies are. It's a little thing.
It's great.
Yeah, but it's like, hey, you know, I've now kind of, for a long time, I've written songs for venues, you know, because I know that if I write a song about this, it'll work there or whatever. And I've pretty much kind of resigned to the fact that this song is for the Roasting Room. This song is, I can get away with like, people will listen to me sing about being a clown in a quiet voice at this place. And at the last show I did there, it got the best response. I was kind of surprised. Wow, this actually worked. I set out with a kind of idea for this song. You know, it's like it's creepy. It's quiet.
Yeah. I think it's important for people, even at your gigs, to at least have like your 1, 2, or 3 original songs that you're gonna play every gig, no matter what. And it doesn't matter if you feel like nobody's listening, because maybe one person is. And then after you play it, you say, "Thanks, I wrote that song. You can listen to it on Spotify and iTunes under this name." And you just do that every gig, no matter what. You just play that song, even if it's just one, every gig. Don't be afraid, because especially here on Hilton Head, you talk about not touring, it doesn't really matter because you live on a tourist-based island. So you have, 200,000 different people cycling every week in the summertime that are touring to you. And then they take your music back home with them to Michigan or Ohio or Wisconsin or whatever. And it's like, don't be afraid because you're playing your 3.5 minute song one time in a 3 hour span while they're there eating dinner. It's like, just do it. Just play it. And maybe one person will come up afterwards and say, hey, that song you wrote, that original song, that was great. Where can I listen to that again? And that's a win. You got somebody. And then if they tell 10 people who tell 10 people who tell 10 people, you don't have to tour if you live here.
I think that's an important thing too that we have definitely talked about in a very serious way is not giving up on that song.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote this song "Hiding in the Moonlight" in 2002 and people come up to Caligny, this is my life. People come up to Caligny and go, hey, can you play these 2 songs? And it's Born in the Low Country and it's Hiding in the Moonlight. And they haven't heard the Strings and Envy album we did. They don't know the 1 Millionth Beer song. They don't know, and they don't know the new album. And I'm really proud of the new album, but it's new. Mm-hmm. It just came out last year. So in our quest to force I kind of feel like sometimes I force my music down people's throats or down their ears or whatever. People are going to do it. You can post all you want. I can't tie you down and make you listen to the song. So Roger came to Hilton Head and he liked the song, and then he goes home. Like when you guys went to North Carolina and that place was playing, they were playing your whole album or something, weren't they? At a coffee shop or something? Mm-hmm. And to me, that's such a huge thing. Like, what? That's crazy. But someone there heard it. Maybe they heard it through a playlist. Maybe they heard it because they came down here. We don't. You have to splinter off and you have to disperse your stuff. And you've got to play it at your shows because let's not forget the most important part about live music is that no matter how bad sometimes music is, live music is usually, there's always something. Like, say someone's not new and they're not even really that accomplished. They haven't done 3,000 shows. They haven't done 300 shows. But there's something about live music sometimes that it's the most important. You forget, like, I take for granted a lot of the times about, like, just a guy with a guitar and, like, how when the bugs are making their noise and the river is, like, lapping at the sawgrass or whatever, and you're up there playing your guitar and people are, like, it's like, sometimes you gotta put yourself in their place, like, that's the magic they're here for, You gotta play your song. So I think that maybe is one of the most important things that we could maybe leave everyone with is, sure, make an album. There's people around here that you can make your album with. You can record your stuff at home and you could have someone mix it. That's what I was doing for a while. You could these people aren't hard to find. If you're a local musician or if you're someone, maybe you're just a mom or a dad who you want to do a project. You want it, like, I wrote a song a long time ago about golf. You can find someone. Put your feelers out there. But the most important thing, I think, the message that I have for the local musicians is get behind your song and if you spent time on it, it's worth something. I mean, if you want help with it, if you want help with, like, the songwriting part of it, or you want help with, with the production part of it, or you want help, like, you want to just go somewhere and record it. I mean, man, come on, dude. There's some state-of-the-art there's places around here you can do that. I mean, you know, like, thank God. So, is there anything you wanted to say before we wrap it?
I think that the most important thing that you can do if you make original music and you want people to listen to it is to release it. I think that too often people talk themselves out of putting their music out there because they don't like this mix or this the song has changed since they wrote it and recorded it. It's like, that's fine, stuff can always change, but release it. Just, if you recorded it in any fashion, just release it. And then if you put a song out and you're wondering how to promote it, sometimes the best way to promote stuff that you put out is to put out more stuff. Now that we have Spotify, it's like a photo album for all your music. So every time you put out something new, you send people to your Spotify to listen to your new track that you're currently promoting, and all your other tracks are there. And you'll by default probably get some listens to your older stuff. So in the time that you spend worrying about how you're going to promote this one song, you spend a whole year going, why is nobody listening? Why is nobody listening? How do I find out? How do I get this one song? You could have put 10 other songs out.
Yep.
So I think that is the fastest way, I think, to any kind of success in original music, is to release material.
Yeah. Don't get bummed out if no one's don't get bummed out if you don't get 100 likes or 10 shares if you put a video out or something right away.
Yeah, that one video or that one track is a tiny little piece of the puzzle.
You've got to have, I mean, when somebody reads Harry Potter, it's like they want to they want to read all the books. I don't even know how many there are. Harry Potter's not my thing, but there's 7 books. I know there's 7 books, and I think that when people hear a song from you guys, they want to hear another one,
right?
And then they want to hear another one, and then I think we've got to get more people around here kind of putting stuff out, get a perspective. What didn't you? I mean, you really never. The hurtful, the thing that hurts me the most about songwriting is, I didn't get it again. I didn't get it down the right way. I love it. I mean, I've had to kind of say, good job.
Mm-hmm.
You did something. You wrote another song, but it wasn't the way I envisioned it. It didn't come out the way I wanted it. But it's followed sort of a style or whatever. I've got a little style. I like to write 3-chord songs. I like to write funny songs. That's me. That's what I like to do. And over the years, I figured out, I tried to get away from it for a while, and I came back to it, and I thought to myself, this is who you are, man. Stop trying to, who are you off stage? Sometimes you can ask yourself too, what kind of conversation, what's your, sometimes, the be chill like Gary hats, Gary's music is chill. Gary's music is that vibe, your guys' vibe is a very serious, when I was watching you guys, The Roast Room, man, it was I was in a trance. I was after the song, I had whoa. Where am I? Whoa, where, you guys had this repetitive chorus thing happening, and very melodic and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, this has been cool. Kyle is on Instagram as Kyle Legged Fox, at Kyle Legged Fox. And you can check out 3-Legged Fox on Spotify, and I mean it's still on iTunes, I would imagine.
Yeah, Apple
and
Music.
Apple Music is going to be taken over soon, and Pretty Darn is coming out with a new song soon.
Yep.
Pretty Darn. And signing off, I am Jevon Daly. Don't forget to click subscribe. Don't forget to hit the little bell to get the notifications when we do something new. This has been JevCast 7. Rhymes with Jevon. Thanks, guys. On the outro, you will be listening to Black Rock T-shirt produced by Kyle Wareham. I forgot to mention that. You produced a Black Rock t-shirt song. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Cool. So now you guys just get up and walk away. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
should laugh or something. Like, you guys have a great time.
Well, we did have a good time because we talked about doing. You know, at the beginning, I thought we were gonna forget a lot of those things,
Black.
like how important it is to
Rock. Black.
Yeah.
Rock. T-shirts.
Like,
Black.
see all this stuff.
Rock. Black. Rock. T-shirts. Black. Rock. Black. Rock. Black. Rock. T-shirt.
No, that's good. I was like really afraid I'm not.
No, you didn't. Well, I know, but if anyone, the thing is though, is that you can back it up by all it is you're not saying like, you're not being a dick saying, I mean, I was surprised.